Hi everyone, my name is Leslie. This is Awaken Taste Nutrition. Today I'm going to show you how easy it is to make burgers on the stovetop. So you don't always need a barbecuer to create delicious burgers. You just need a stovetop and an oven. And I'll show you how it's done along with some delicious roasted vegetables. So join me and have a delicious dinner. Okay, so first things first. It's really important to consider order of operations when you're cooking, and that means getting everything to be done all at the same time so that you can serve up a plate with every item on the menu. So thinking through the process a little bit, what we're going to do is start with the roasted vegetables because I know that they will take the longest, and then we'll do the hamburger patties on the stovetop. So before I begin all of the cooking, I am going to hone my knife. And this is a good cooking practice to prepare your knife every time that you cook. It's actually really healthy for the blade to hone your knife just to keep all of the imperfections out of the blade, and it keeps it sharp too. So you can do this just by a few quick back and forth on the honing blade, and you're ready to go. So let's start out with the roasted vegetables. Tonight we're going to do roasted turnips, parsnips, as well as a beautiful yellow pepper and some zucchini squash. And we're going to roast these. By roasting the vegetables, you get a delicious caramelized flavor that brings out the sweetness in all of the veggies. So I hope you'll enjoy this. When I do root vegetables, I don't bother peeling. I just chop off the root end and the stem end and get it going that way. So it makes it really simple. Always start with a vegetable face down, or I like to call it flat side down so that it doesn't roll away from you. And we're just gonna simply chop these up. All right, the root vegetables are done. And now for the zucchini and the bell pepper. Oh, and by the way, I love to have a scrap bowl next to my cutting board because all of my scraps go right into the bowl rather than piling up around my cutting board on the counter. I also have a bad habit of throwing all my waste into the sink, and nobody likes to clean that out. So lesson learned, just keep a scrap bowl right next to you for easy cleaning, and I'll tell you what, people are going to thank you. So I'm going to roast my zucchini long ways so that I have a nice caramelized, soft, delicious morsel of zucchini that I can then later cut and add to a salad if I like, or eat just simply as a side. You could also roast these, I'm roasting these face down. You could also roast these face up and put some Parmesan cheese on top, or a little diced tomato and fresh basil from the garden once that pops up this summer. But for right now, I'm gonna just roast them face down. I'm also going to roast 1/2 of my bell pepper face down so it can caramelize, and again, I can slice it afterwards and eat its warm juiciness. And I'm going to roast the other half of that bell pepper into slices so that if I wish, I can add them to my burger. I'm going to top these with just a little bit of salt. Helps bring out their juices and adds great flavor throughout the vegetable. And I'm using a blend of sea salt, so it's nice and pink, which means it has a lot of minerals in it. And I'll top it with a little fresh ground pepper. And don't forget the olive oil. Here we go. Drizzle that on really quickly, super fast. Give it a little rub down. Oh yeah, rub down those veggies. And that's it. So 2 minutes, ready to go into the oven, and they'll be done within 20 minutes or so. I'm going to do the same thing with the root vegetables. A little bit of olive oil. I like to mound my vegetables up into a pile so that I efficiently cover them with olive oil. It's my engineering brain coming out. Efficiency first, everybody, and some salt. Good. Notice I don't measure anything. Who has time for that? Go by feel. All right, that's it. Little pepper maybe. You can do any vegetables you want. Notice that I have a combination here, so I could add potatoes, I could add sweet potatoes. Another root vegetable that I enjoy is a rutabaga, actually roasted. Not too bad. Give it a try, see what you think. All right, into the oven, 15 or 20 minutes, and they're good to go. Oops. All right, step 2 is mushrooms and onion. Who doesn't love grilled mushrooms and onions on their burger? So we're gonna do this quick and easy on the stovetop in the cast iron skillet to conserve time and to only use one pot. I don't need to pull out an extra skillet just to saute my onions and mushrooms if I'm gonna be grilling up my burgers in the same pan. So you can do this in reverse order if you like, but meaning doing the patties before the onions and the mushrooms. But these will take a little bit longer, so I don't mind if they sit in a dish off to the side while I grill up the burgers. Doing it in reverse order though, you're gonna pick up the juices from the hamburger into the onions and the mushrooms, so that can add some really delicious flavor too. But we'll start with these today. So for the mushrooms, again, nothing too difficult, just a few slices, and we'll pile them up. I like to cut my onions into crescents. I call them crescents. Other people call them half moons. So making really thin slices around the onion this way. Notice that my left hand fingers are tucked so that I don't accidentally do this, which I have done in the past. So tuck your fingers as you cut the onion. All right, I'm gonna be sauteing my onions and mushrooms at a pretty low temperature so that the juices will come out and they'll caramelize a little bit. I love sauteing my onions and mushrooms in butter. The taste is amazing. I could also use olive oil or coconut oil. Either one will work since we'll be doing it at a fairly low temperature. You shouldn't have to worry too much about using a high quality olive oil, but butter is gonna make it better. Everything is always better with butter. Butter, especially grass-fed butter, provides really healthy fats. CLA is a great fat for energy and brain function, and if it's grass-fed, it has anti-inflammatory fats in there, more omega-3s than a conventional butter would have. So definitely choose grass-fed whenever possible. Ooh. And I'm going to add my onions and mushrooms all together. Now ideally you would want a cast iron skillet that is slightly larger than this. So with this size of pan and the amount of vegetables that I have in it, the vegetables will tend to steam because they're crowded. So if I had a larger cast iron skillet, there would be more space between each piece, and that would allow the steam to come off of the vegetable rather than kind of stay in that area and steam it up. So if you are looking to really caramelize an onion, you need plenty of space in your skillet. You never want to overcrowd anything. That's really important. But today, this is what we have, and it will taste delicious. Okay, so we have the onions and mushrooms sizzling in the background. You can probably hear it. I wish you could smell it. So in the meantime, while that's cooking, we're going to prepare the hamburger. In my bowl, I have 1 pound of grass-fed beef. I always choose grass-fed because of its quality and its flavor. The flavor's going to be a little bit more gamey if you're not used to it, so just keep that in mind, but not something that you can't get used to. So give it a try and you'll enjoy it. Promise. Okay, so to my hamburger, super simple. I'm gonna boost the flavor and make it really juicy and moist with some ketchup, yes, into the hamburger, a little bit of barbecue sauce just to add a little bit of tang, and some mustard, yes, right in there. And super simple, I just pulled these out of my fridge. Of course, I use organic ketchup because I don't like high fructose corn syrup in my food, so I'm choosing organic. And again, how much am I doing? That's a squirt. So maybe a tablespoon of ketchup, maybe a half tablespoon, or let's go with a teaspoon of mustard. That's good. Again, I don't have the time or the energy to wash measuring spoons, so just eyeball it. If it doesn't turn out the first time, you'll know the next time to adjust it a little bit, but you can't go wrong. Ketchup, mustard, and a little bit of barbecue sauce, like about a teaspoon. To that, I'm going to add just a little bit of celery salt, again, flavor, and maybe a little bit more. Oh, that's good. And some pepper. All right, no spoon, just the hands, going in, mixing this all up. It's gonna get messy. It's gonna be worth it. All right, messy it is, but it's ready to go, just like that. So out of a pound of hamburger, I like to make 5 to 6 burgers. I don't necessarily need a quarter pound of meat at one meal. If I'm still hungry, I can cut a second patty in half and do that. So again, super fast, just like that. All right, there you have it, 5 beautiful patties. Might even add a little extra pepper, ground pepper on top, never hurts. And I'm gonna throw them on the stove. All right, these are looking great. I've tried them, they're amazing. I'm going to transfer them over into a bowl and then I'm gonna cook up the patties. So be careful, cast iron always gets really hot. And I don't necessarily need to add additional oil because the patties themselves have some fat in them. All right, I'm gonna do 3 at a time. All right, so everything's ready to go. We have the hamburger patties done. The mushrooms and onions are here in this bowl, and I sliced up some fresh tomato. And also, the vegetables in the oven are done. I'm gonna pull them out. Look at that. This is super easy. They just sat in there. The heat did the cooking. All I had to do was chop and season, which is nice. So we'll have those on the side. So I don't eat bread. I can't have buns. I have my own buns, but I can't eat buns. So I'm gonna use spinach, and I like to plate a little pile of spinach right there in the center, and I'm gonna place a hamburger patty right on top. I love mustard, so I'm gonna top mine with a little bit of mustard. Again, you can do this however you'd like. Make a little heart on top. Place some of my veggies. Oh yeah. And a nice sliced tomato. And plate up some lovely grilled vegetables on the side. A grilled zucchini. And some roasted veggies. All right, there you have it. My dinner is served. I hope you enjoy your burgers and realize how easy it can be right here on the stovetop, so you can have great grilled burgers any time of the year, not just in the summer on your back patio. And again, too, you don't have to do a traditional burger. Again, I do mine on a bed of spinach. You could wrap it in a tortilla. You could do it in a pita, might be kind of fun. So get creative and enjoy. Thanks for joining me.